Hey everyone! Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on a piece of technology that's basically turning complex software development into something that almost anyone can tackle. It's a pretty big deal, and it could totally change how your business gets things done. So let's dive in.
So let's picture this for a second. You have a fantastic idea for an app, something simple that could automate a really tedious task, or maybe track inventory better, just something to make your team's life a whole lot easier. It's a super common problem, right?
And then, bam, you hit the usual roadblock. You're not a developer, your IT department is totally swamped with other projects, and let's be real, hiring a team of programmers is really expensive and takes forever. For the longest time, this is pretty much where all those great ideas just fizzled out. But what if there was another way?
Well, that's where something called low-code development comes into the picture. It's a total game changer. The whole idea is that you build apps visually, kind of like snapping puzzle pieces together, instead of writing every single line of code from scratch. Okay, so low-code is the big idea, but there are a ton of tools out there that do this. Today, we're going to zoom in on one of the heavy hitters in this space. Let's get specific about what we're actually talking about. And that tool is Microsoft Power Apps. It's one of the top platforms making this whole low-code revolution a reality. It's all about building business apps that are secure, that can grow with you, and that are customized to what you actually need.
I love this slide because it perfectly nails the concept. Think of Power Apps as a giant box of digital Legos. You get all these secure, pre-made parts and what they call reusable logic blocks, things like forms or calculators that are already built, and you just snap them together. It means you can build really powerful apps fast that connect right into the tools you probably already use every day, like SharePoint or Power BI.
Okay, so it's a cool idea, but what's the bottom line for a business? Why does this really matter? This is where low-code starts to feel less like a tool and more like a set of business superpowers. And this slide just lays it all out, side by side. On the left, you've got the old-school way, long, crazy expensive development cycles that need these highly specialized teams. And on the right, the Power Apps way. It's faster, it costs less, and, this is the big one, it gives the power to build solutions to the people who actually understand the business problems. You can really boil all these advantages down to three main things. It's all about being able to build faster, work smarter, and scale everything in a safer way. Let's quickly break down what each of those actually looks like.
First up, building faster. We're talking about slashing development time, which means you can get new apps out the door and solving problems in a tiny fraction of the time it used to take. And that speed, naturally, means lower costs, because you're not paying for a huge dev team for months on end.
Second, working smarter. This is huge. It's all about automating those boring manual tasks. It frees your team up to stop pushing digital paper around and actually focus on the stuff that matters. Your whole business just becomes more agile, ready to adapt without being stuck in old, clunky processes.
And number three, and this one is so important, is scaling safer. Look, low-code doesn't mean it's the Wild West. It gives you centralized control, so IT still knows who can see what data. Plus, it's all built on Microsoft's cloud, which means you get that top-tier enterprise-grade security right from the get-go.
Okay, so we get what it is and why it's so powerful. But how does an idea actually become a real working app in this world? Let's walk through the actual process.
It might sound complicated, but it really boils down to a simple four-step journey. You always start with planning and design, where you map out what the app needs to do. Then you move to build and integrate. That's where you're snapping those Legos together and connecting to your data. After that comes test and deploy, which is super important to make sure everything works perfectly before you roll it out. And finally, it doesn't just stop there. You've got support and evolve, keeping the app updated as business needs change.
And look, don't let the word fast make you think it's reckless. This whole structured process is designed to make sure that what you end up with isn't just some quick and dirty fix, but a solid, secure solution that's actually aligned with what the business needs.
All right, this is my favorite part. Let's get out of the theory and into the real world. Let's see how different industries are using Power Apps to solve actual problems right now.
Let's start with healthcare. Think about it, an industry just loaded with complex processes and super strict rules. It's basically the perfect place for a digital upgrade.
So what are they doing? They're building secure apps to handle everything from checking patients in to managing staff schedules. Imagine being able to automate the approval process for a new treatment or track all that compliance paperwork digitally. It's a huge step up.
Next up, let's jump over to the world of finance, where things like accuracy, security, and governance are everything.
Here, it's all about locking down accuracy and control. Teams are building apps to automate expense approvals, track budgets as they happen, and create these live dashboards for audits. It just streamlines everything and gives managers a much clearer picture of what's going on.
So as you can see, this isn't just some little tool for side projects, it's a real shift in how we think about building software, putting the power to create and innovate right in the hands of the people on the front lines.
And I think this quote from our source material just says it all. At the end of the day, this isn't about building apps for the sake of it. It's about turning this technology into real, tangible business results, solving problems, making things more efficient, and helping the company grow.
And that really leaves us with the most important question, the one for you. As you go about your work week, just think about it. The endless spreadsheets, the manual emails, the repetitive things that just slow everyone down. With tools like these out there, what's one process that you could transform? Thanks for tuning in.